So you're a solo entrepreneur, you're looking at Austria, and you've probably heard about setting up a GmbH, a limited liability company. It's really the best way to protect your personal assets. But you've also probably heard that setting one up, well, it isn't exactly a walk in the park. The question is, how do you actually get through it? Let's break it down. And yeah, you heard right. In a lot of countries, you can spin up a company with just a few clicks. But the source material is pretty clear. Austria has an elaborate process. Now that one word, elaborate, can sound pretty intimidating, right? It brings up these images of just mountains of paperwork, official stamps, and a whole lot of bureaucratic headaches. But here's the thing. Elaborate doesn't mean it's impossible. Not at all. It just means it's structured. And honestly, once you have the map, any path becomes easier to walk. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to give you that map. So, what does this whole landscape actually look like? Before we jump into the step-by-step guide, let's get a feel for the terrain and meet the key players you're going to be working with. First off, some really good news. As of 2024, the minimum starting capital you need was slashed down to just 10,000 euros. And honestly, this was a total game changer. It suddenly put the legal protection of a full GmbH within reach for way more solo founders. That first big financial hurdle, it's a lot lower now. And here's why the process is called elaborate. It's not just you filling out a form online. It's more like a team effort. Obviously, there's you, the founder. You're the star of the show, but you'll also be working with a notary for all the legal stuff, a local bank to handle your capital, and finally, the official company register, or Firmenbull, to make it all official. Okay, so you know who's involved. Now you've arrived at the first big fork in the road. And I'm not kidding, this is probably the single most important decision you'll make in this whole process, because it determines the entire path you're going to take from here on out. Now, this choice is presented to you, but only if you meet a very specific condition. You have to be both the only shareholder, meaning you own 100% of the company, and the only managing director. If you're wearing both of those hats, then congratulations, you've got two distinct paths you can choose from. And here's the basic trade-off. On one side, you've got the traditional notary path. It's comprehensive, it's super flexible, but it does require some in-person steps. On the other side is the simplified online path. It's modern, it's fast, it's all digital, but it's also very rigid. You get a standardized setup. So which one is for you? Let's take a closer look, starting with that traditional route. First up, let's talk about the traditional way. This is the classic, time-tested method for forming a GmbH in Austria, and the whole thing really revolves around one central legal document. This document, the Articles of Association, is basically your company's constitution. And here's the big selling point for the notary path. You get to customize it. Let's say you need to define specific rules for maybe bringing on a partner in the future, or how you'll sell shares. This is where you do it. You're not just filling in some blanks on a form. You're actually architecting your company's future. And you have a legal expert right there with you, making sure it's all built on a solid foundation. And the process itself, it just flows logically. First, you'll sit down with the notary to draft and sign all the core documents. With those notarized papers in hand, you go open your business bank account and deposit your capital. The bank gives you a little piece of paper, proof of payment, which you then take back to your notary. And then they handle the final submission to the company register for you. It's a very guided, very hands-on journey. All right, now for the modern alternative. If the notary path is kind of like the scenic, custom-tailored route, this one is the high-speed digital highway. But it's got some very specific, very strict on-ramps. So before you even think about this path, you have to meet every single one of these conditions, no exceptions. You have to be the only shareholder. You have to be the only managing director. It has to be a brand new company you're setting up, not just changing the legal form of a business you already have. If you can check all of those boxes, then you've just unlocked a fully digital process. The key that unlocks this whole digital world is something called ID Austria. It's your official e-signature. Now, for any international founders watching, listen up, because this next part is absolutely critical. You must get this activated in person at a local Austrian police department. Don't overlook this. It's the one mandatory offline step in what's otherwise a completely online process, so you've got to plan for it. So once you have your ID Austria, the steps are really streamlined. You still need to open a bank account and deposit the capital, but notice the key difference here. The bank sends the confirmation directly to the company register for you. So that's one less step for you. Then you just log into the government's portal, you fill out the standardized forms, and you submit the whole thing electronically. No notary, no paper submissions. Okay, but here it is, the big catch. All that speed and convenience comes at a cost, and that cost is flexibility. Remember how with the notary path, you could customize your company's constitution? Well, with the online path, that's just not possible. You have to use the standardized bare bones articles that they give you. There is no room for custom clauses. It is a one-size-fits-all solution, take it or leave it. So let's say you've chosen your path, you've navigated all the steps, and then you get that email. Your company is officially in the Firmenbuch. Congratulations, that's huge! But before you pop the champagne, getting your company officially registered is a massive milestone for sure, but it is not the finish line. It's better to think of it as the end of the beginning. There are still a few more really critical steps you have to take before you can legally start doing business. Yep, these are the big three. First, you'll need to get the right business license for whatever your industry is. Then, you have to register yourself as a business owner with the Social Security Office. And, of course, you've got to register your brand new company with the tax authorities. These are absolutely non-negotiable steps to being fully operational and, compliant. And so, that brings us right back to where we started, with your choice. Are you building a business that needs a custom-built legal foundation where you value flexibility more than speed? Or is your number one priority just to get up and running as quickly and as simply as possible with a standard setup? The path you choose really depends not just on the business you're starting today, but on the one you're hoping to build for tomorrow.